At the start of the film, we see someone gazing at a ship, and not long afterward that person heads across a stretch of snow, eventually arriving in a small town in Alaska. This marks the last day the sun will appear in that month. A sheriff named Eben and his colleague find a burned telephone that someone, whose identity is unknown, seems to have destroyed. Eben feels uneasy about this discovery. After that, Eben savors the view of the final sunset of the month. Meanwhile, a woman named Stella, also a sheriff and Eben's ex, plans to hurry to the airport, as do many other people in that town. They are leaving for the next month because the town will experience its regular natural phenomenon, in which the sun will not appear and heavy snowstorms will rage. Elsewhere, there is a massacre of several dogs by an unknown perpetrator. The scene shifts to Eben. He reprimands a man named Bo, since his car's generator is leaking, which could endanger other motorists. Eben receives a report that someone has killed John's dogs, so he quickly departs to investigate. While she is en route, Stella encounters an issue. Her vehicle is hit by Malachi's car. She loses control because Malachi's brakes are jammed. Stella calls Eben for help and learns that she has been reassigned in this town because of a minor inconvenience. She asks him for a ride to the airport. Eben tells Billy to drive Stella because he himself needs to help John. Eben arrives at the scene of the dog killings and vows to catch whoever is responsible. Then he returns to his station, where he meets his grandmother Helen and his younger brother Jake. They both also work in that place. It looks like a busy day for Eben because he gets yet another task. This time he has to help Carter and Wilson. Upon reaching the airport, Stella discovers that she has missed her flight and that the airport is already closed. Reluctantly, she must remain in town for another month. Eben visits Wilson's workplace, where Wilson complains he has lost a certain tool used for fixing machinery. In a separate location, someone receives a terrifying visitation by a mysterious creature, which then makes that person its prey. The scene moves to a diner. A man orders a drink, but that drink is disallowed. He asks for raw meat, but that's unavailable. The man threatens Lucy, and suddenly Eben arrives to intervene. Eben invites the man outside to talk, but the man instead intimidates Eben. Simultaneously, Stella appears and points a gun at him, allowing Eben to detain the man and lock him up in a cell. Elsewhere, several workers return from their jobs. While they are talking, the mysterious creature reappears and attacks one of them. Eben interrogates the man he has just detained, because the stranger is not from their town. Eben asks where he's from, but the man refuses to answer. Grandma Helen's computer fails, and the phone also goes out. Suddenly, the stranger taunts them, warning that a threat is coming, and that they will be coming for him. At once, the city's power shuts off. Eben tells Stella to keep watch while he goes to check on the problem. Eben heads to the building that monitors the internet and electric network. To his shock, he finds the security guard's head impaled on a pike. Eben hurriedly warns everyone in town to remain at home and be on alert for whatever danger lurks. While John's wife is cooking dinner late at night, a predatory being bursts into their home and drags her away. John attempts to save her, but it's in vain. The scene switches to the police station. In his frustration toward the mysterious man, Jake loses his temper and nearly gets choked by the stranger. But Eben arrives and shoots the man. Eben demands to know who killed Gus and who came to town with him. The man merely threatens that they will all perish.
You're all dead!
Eben plans to meet Billy to investigate who is behind this. Stella will accompany him, while Jake and Grandma Helen remain there. On the way, they see something that makes them turn around. Their vehicle is chased by one of the creatures, but they manage to evade it. Eben hears over Grandma Helen's monitor that danger has reached his station, so he hurries back, only to be too late. All he finds is blood and that same stranger. The stranger pleads with Eben to kill him because he's not with them, but Stella prevents Eben from doing so. It turns out that these creatures are vampires, and they intend to slaughter everyone in the town. Some people gather at the diner, one of them claiming that the vampires can't be killed by bullets. Eben's brother Jake is there as well. The vampires continue to slay everyone they find, unleashing a mass slaughter in a disturbing scene. Eben and Stella join the people in the diner, relieved that Jake is still alive. They plan to find a safe location, and one of them suggests a certain attic, though the stairs are broken. Eben approves this idea, telling Carter to lead them while he looks for a way to slow the vampire's progress. Only a few blocks from their location, Eben and Stella are confronted by more vampires. Their vehicle is lifted and overturned. Just when things look dire, Bo arrives to help them escape, and they hurry to the attic as planned. Everyone questions what these creatures really are, and they try to keep calm, rationing what supplies they have. The head vampire approaches the stranger whom Eben had arrested, but then the vampires kill that stranger as well. Isaac, an elderly man with dementia, keeps waking up and asking for his deceased wife. Wilson, his son, continually attempts to comfort him. Denise feels desperate and wants to fight the vampires head-on instead of letting them find her first. This sparks tension and commotion, but Bo tries to calm Denise and Eben, who start clashing. Eben shares his idea. They'll head to the local store to gather food, then proceed to the utilidor. If they can make it there, they can stay safe for a month. They plan to go once the next snowstorm hits. It's now day 7, and they are still hiding. Eben hears a young girl crying for help. Carter intends to rescue her, but Eben stops him because he realizes it's a vampire trap. The girl begs the vampires not to eat her. At the same time, Eben leaves the house to learn more and encounters John, who calls out to him. Elsewhere, Bo contemplates confronting the vampires directly, but Stella stops him, explaining that the others still need him. Eben approaches John, who is badly wounded. As Eben tries to assist him, he's horrified to see John has turned into a vampire. John attempts to attack Eben, but Eben swings an axe he finds, decapitating John. Eben returns to the attic and reports what's happened. Late that night, Isaac slips downstairs, intending to look for his wife. Stella notices, as does Wilson, who tries to stop his father. But the old man insists he needs to use the bathroom, and then sneaks out. Panicking, Wilson shoves Stella aside so he can search for his father. Eben wakes up, hearing the commotion. Suddenly, a vampire slips into the attic. It's about to check the bathroom, but it changes its mind upon hearing Wilson's cries outside. In the end, Wilson is also devoured. Eben and Stella retreat to the attic. While they talk, they hear a noise on the roof, but it disappears. When the storm arrives, Eben and his group set out for the small grocery store, gathering any food they can bring. Then they're startled by a child vampire. It attacks and injures Carter, but they manage to subdue it because Jake successfully beheads it. By day 18, Eben's group is still holed up at the store. While everyone remains tense, Carter proposes that they go to the police station. Eben agrees to draw the vampire's attention so the others can slip away unnoticed. Although Jake objects, Eben insists it's the only way for everyone's safety. He also has a plan to fight the vampires. Eben puts his scheme into motion, starting an electrical generator in a nearby house. Meanwhile, Denise is overpowered by the vampires. Stella and the rest keep moving until they reach the police station. Eben readies himself to attack a vampire using the harsh glare of bright floodlights, and indeed it works. One vampire is scorched. The others destroy the generator, forcing Eben to flee. Bo heroically uses his vehicle to ram some of the vampires, planning to sacrifice himself with dynamite, but the explosion fails to kill him outright. Ultimately, the vampires end his life. Eben, distraught, heads to rejoin his friends at the police station. Owing to the earlier attack by the child vampire, Carter has begun turning into one himself. Carter begs Eben to end his life for everyone's safety. With a heavy heart, Eben once again has to behead a friend. On day 27, Eben notices a Morse code signal from the attic of a neighboring house. It's from Billy. Eben and Stella rush there and escort a weakened Billy back to the police station. However, everyone else has already left. In the end, they decide to continue toward the utilidor. While hiding, they spot a young child walking alone, and Stella rushes to save her. But a vampire follows the child, forcing Eben into another confrontation. Eben flees until he finally reaches the utilidor, finding Jake already there. Unfortunately, Stella and Billy haven't arrived yet. Eventually, Billy shows up, only to be followed by a vampire he didn't realize was there. The vampire leaps on Billy, but Billy manages to shove it into the grinding machine. Billy's arm is crushed too, and he's been bitten, so Eben is forced to decapitate him. Eben tries calling Stella on the walkie-talkie. She's hiding beneath a vehicle down the street, but the place is teeming with vampires. Realizing they have the upper hand, the vampires sabotage the oil pipeline and set the town on fire, placing Stella in grave danger. Out of options, Eben injects Billy's blood into his own body, thereby turning himself into a vampire so he can face their leader, even though it might cost him his life. Jake protests, but Eben insists there is no other solution. Once he feels the transformation's effect, Eben marches over to the vampires and challenges their leader. Meanwhile, Jake urges Stella to leave immediately. Eben and the head vampire battle fiercely, and at last Eben manages to kill him. The remaining vampires depart, disappearing to an unknown destination. The surviving townspeople finally come out of their hiding spots. Morning arrives, and Eben and Stella witness the sunrise, knowing it means death for Eben. In Stella's embrace, Eben dies as the sun's rays shine down, and thus the story ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.